Ever wonder what sets the winners apart from the losers? And what does it really mean to be a winner? My name is Federico, and I'm a young, successful entrepreneur passionate about sports, business, mindset, and real estate. If you are just like me and you want to crack the code to victory, then Winning Ways podcast is made for you. Yo, welcome back to Winning Ways with Fred. My name is Federico, and I'm your host. Guys, second show with my boy, Austin. Piggybacking off last week's story, we're going to continue out today. Basically the same deal, showing you and sharing how a no excuse mentality can take you so far in life, how belief is the most important thing in the world, how somebody could tell you you're not going to walk ever. A doctor could tell you you're not going to walk, and 10 years later, you're walking. Little situations like that Austin has experienced, and we want to continue the conversation because we got great feedback from last week. Now, with that being said, what's up, Austin?
What's up, guys? Hey, thank you guys for coming back, listening to us. Like we're loving the positivity, we're loving the feedback, and honestly, at the end of the day, our message is just to inspire you guys. So just keep it up.
Keep it up, and we're only getting started. This is episode two of many. We're only going to
two of infinity, bro.
Exactly. We're only grow. We're only going to make it better. And the more we grow, we're going to bring winners onto the show so they can share their tips too and how they won. Now, today we're going to continue with Austin. Bro, last week you left me thinking, right? Hey, man, like I've been in this situation my whole life. I've had a no excuse mentality. Yeah, I've worked for my dream team. I work for my dream company, Barstool. I've done things that most people never thought I was able. Whatever thought that I was going to be able to do? Yeah, that's how you say it. But yeah, bro, talk to us about that, man. Tell us that little life journey, how you're doing with Barstool now, how you got there, and little things you're doing along the way.
So just to piggyback on everything, my journey to Barstool today has been a roller coaster. I've piggybacked from when last week's episode, I was next door neighbors to Kobe Bryant. I was an avid sports fan. I love sports. A story that I forgot to tell you last week was my dad kind of gave me the harsh reality at a young age. I'm like looking in the mirror, trying to do a crossover with the basketball between my legs, just trying to do some stuff. And he's like, son, you're never going to make it to the NBA. I'm like, nah, I'm going to make it. And he's like, you're going to make it to the NBA, but not as a player. I'm like, no. Like, and he's just like, you're not going to be able to make these shots. Like he gave me the harsh reality that no one other than a parent should give their kid of like a reality check. And I was like, well, all right, I could go on the management side. I could still like, it kind of defeated my goal of not being in the NBA because every kid wants to be a professional athlete. But at a young age, I think I was like 5 or 6, I literally took that as like, all right, like I can't do that, but let's improvise and let's go do something else. So in college, when I went to Florida State, I studied sports management. I always knew I grew up with the mentality of Jerry Maguire, that sports agency movie, and show me the money. Like I loved that movie. And it was like, I want to be a sports agent. I want to do all that. And then during my time at Florida State, I interned for the football team, was doing stuff when Jameis was there and doing stuff my freshman year. And it just showed me like how not shady, but how reliant you are on other people being a sports agent of like, they could drop you in a second. People have bad days and they could take it out on you. I'm like, all right, I don't really want to be a personal one-on-one with an athlete. So why don't I start working for the football team and more in depth? And that kind of opened my eyes. I was working with the strength and conditioning coach, working at practices and stuff. And I was like, yeah, like maybe football's not for me. Like it's too crazy. I want to go back to my roots of basketball. And I lived at Onyx during the time, which is a neighborhood community in Florida State. And pretty much all the athletes who were male and female basketball players lived there. During my time, I became good friends with a couple buddies in the NBA, Dwayne Bacon, Malik Beasley, and one of my good friends still to this day, Terrence Mann. And just was homies with them. Like we would hang out, play 2K. With just like the difference between a basketball player and an FSU football player was they were normal, chill. FSU football player was like, yo, I'm an FSU football player. Okay. And like I like the more laid back, like I'm doing my sport, but I'm also not a cocky asshole.
I did get that vibe a lot in Tally, man.
You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah, because I lived in Onyx too, and I saw Terrence Mann a bunch of times. So I saw a bunch of them rather chill. And the football team kind of carried that little ego, like, hey,
Like, yo, I'm on the football team.
yeah,
I
fuck
was
off,
like,
kind of, yeah. I
yeah,
didn't like it.
exactly. And that was like something I wasn't trying to get into. I was just like, you know, like I'm a very chill guy. I'm not egotistical. I'm not really into the whole aspect of, yo, I'm this guy. I'm this guy. I'm getting drafted this round. My 40's this speed. You want to help me film? I'm like, yo, I like basketball. So I became close with all of them. And then one time when I left Florida State, I still was close to them and everything. They gave me courtside seats at the game at Miami. I was sitting right. It was Terrence's last year. Literally, only time I've sat like courtside for a basketball game. And let me tell you something, man. Like that was the biggest eye opener. I was like, I love this.
Yeah.
I became addicted. Like the second it happened. So I'm like, all right, what can I do? What can I do? And I interviewed for the Heat. Literally went to a convention from this thing called Teamwork Online. It's if anyone wants to get a job in the sports industry, that's where you'll find the job is Teamwork Online because every sports team hires through that. They
Okay.
had a convention at the Miami Heat arena. I went in there, a young kid, didn't expect anything, didn't have any connection, didn't have anything and went up, waited in line for 2.5 hours to talk to a guy for about 20 minutes. The guy said, "Oh my gosh, you're a great candidate. What would you like to do?" And I said, "Anything that will get me within the door." And knowing that, they said, "Really, you'll do anything?" And
It's
I'm
a
like,
winning
"Yeah."
attitude, though. Winning thing to say.
I was like, "I'll do anything to get in here. I'll work my way up to show my value. Just get me in the door."
Yeah.
So a week later, they called me. They said, "Hey, like, would you like to be in the premier concierge department? And then would you like to come in for an interview?" I was like, "Hell yeah!" I was like, "What does that do?" They're like, "You help all the family and friends of the team get to their seats, make sure everyone's in the club section. You're working with the VIPs of the arena." I was like, "Of course." So I go in there, I do my interview, I do the mindset of like, all right, like I got to sell these people of who I am. And so I could have gone two routes. I'm like, do I play the pity, like I'm in a wheelchair, but I can still do this job? Or do I not even mention a wheelchair and just show them what I can do?
Yeah.
And I went with option B. I was charismatic. I was telling them like, hey, like I used to be next door to Kobe. Like, oh, this is what I love doing. This is what I remember being here in '06 with my dad when he had season tickets and they won the championship. Remember when Wade was drafted? Like, I just kept on hitting him with statistical, like, wow, this kid knows his shit.
Yeah.
And I'll never forget, I got the call like 3 days later and they called me. They're like, hey, we would love to hire you. We'd love to do everything. And in my head, I was like, my life is over. Like I accomplished my goal. And
Yeah.
like I set out what I wanted to do and I did it.
Yeah.
And I went to go do the Heat job. I did it from August to March. It was the August of COVID. It was the August before COVID and right when COVID ended. But my first assignment ever was working the red, white, and pink preseason game. And they had me sitting by myself. Not one person was on the suite level with Jimmy Butler's family. It was the first game of his career with the Heat. And
Okay.
literally, I was acting like a bodyguard. And like the people were like very nice, nicest people I've probably met, but they wanted nothing to do with me at the time. They just wanted to watch basketball. So
Yeah.
I'm literally sitting on the suite level by myself, carrying these people and sitting outside the door. And in my head, I'm like, the hell am I doing here? Like, what? Like, this is BS.
Yeah.
Little to find out that it was Jimmy's personal trainer, Jimmy's brother, Jimmy's everything. That from that point, we grew a great relationship. I'm still friends with James and Marquise very well. I still talk to them, still do
Oh,
everything. But it was one of those things where I was like, what the hell am I doing here? But it all, in like retrospect, it would open the doors to everything. And then they put me downstairs below. Like when I tell you, man, I saw everybody and anybody. Like Usain Bolt came up to me. The one night I had DJ Khaled, Future, Mia Camille, Little Baby, and who else was there?
they said what's up to you?
Dude, I had to put wristbands on their hand. Like I literally
Oh,
had to escort them to this. Like every person that was there, like I had to escort. Like and like I met all these people. Like Little Pump was like just trying to become best friends with me because he wanted to get these bands. Like it was like out of this world. Like reality check of like what the hell is going on.
Yeah.
And it was one of the best jobs. So what had happened was COVID hit, closed the stadium, NBA shut down, and it was pretty whack. They tried hiring us back again, but they pretty much said, hey, if you come back, you're not vaccinated, so you're going to be upstairs on the suite level making sure people put on their masks. I'm like, that was a great run. I love you guys. I don't really want to do that. Yeah, exactly.
Get the fuck out.
I'm like, that was cool, but I'm okay. So during my time, I was like trying to figure out what I wanted to do. Like, I still loved basketball. Like, there's two parts of the Heat. There's the Miami Heat basketball operations and the business side. And I was always on the business side, but then I met this guy named Steve Stowe, who's the vice president of charitable relations over there. And he's the man. Like, literally, I can't say anything bad about a man who doesn't pour his heart into a community. He doesn't, like, when the Surfside thing, he was on site every single day, helping people, getting players out to show that the community cares. When the BLM stuff was happening, he was doing police work, trying to see how he could get equivalent to the community. He's just the man. Yeah. And he kind of was just showing me around, doing all the ropes. So just put your head down and keep grinding. So I kept doing that. And I was in a funky situation. I was like, what do I want to do with my life? Like, the Heat was fun. I want to stay in sports. I don't really want to work for the Marlins. Don't really want to work for the Dolphins. Like, what can I do? So I started looking at sports media companies. I've always been a Barstool fan, but I never had the envision of like, damn, this would be a great company to work for, because they're a media company where it's very lax. There's rules, but the rules are scarce. Like, you could speak your mind, you could speak everything. So I applied for a role in Barstool. I made like a TikTok video, went viral, got like 30,000 likes and everything. And I'm just like, what happened? Someone came across it, and then out of nowhere, I got a DM from Prez. And I was just like, from Portnoy, like legit DM. He's like, came across your video. What do you want to do for this company? Same thing I said with the Heat. Anything, boss. Let me get my foot in the door. Like, I'll start as an intern. You don't have to pay me. You don't have to do anything. Like, let me just show my value. And he was like, you're hired. And I was just like, what do I do? He's like, we'll figure it out. 2 days later, I got a call from my current boss. And he was like, hey, man, this was right when NIL started to pop off. Yeah. And he's like, you're in charge of all the college athletes, where we have 180,000 applicants. You need to, because like there's people applying who are like professional Quidditch player or a professional LARPer player. Oh shit. Because like we have a database, and like I went like going through the database. And I'm the only person on the end that if I hit accept, it automatically like is sent to the merch team to send them like a PR package. So all these kids just wanted free gear, like when the Quidditch players and all this stuff. So my initial job was weeding out 180,000 applicants. And I did that in like 2 months, 3 months. Like I put like 6 hours a day, and then I did that, and I was like, what's next? And they're like, what? Like, you're done? Like, I'm just like, yeah, man, like I'm a hard worker. And one thing led to another. They're like, all right, you're really good with these college kids. Like, you said you wanted to be a sports management major. Let's have you in charge of the college kids, run the Instagram account, accept the kids. And I've been doing that for over a year now, man. And it's a blessing come true.
Bro, that's fucking sick. That's half the story you missed last week, by the way. Like, it's a completely new shit that you just told me. But bro, let me ask you this, man. In that point, a couple of things I want to talk about. When you were meeting Meek Mill, Little Pump, Future, and all these people going into the suite, Phil, if I was you in those shoes, it would light a fire under my ass. I'd be like, fuck, I need to get here some way, somehow, and I'm going to get here.
That's what it was. Like, when I saw there was 4 of us in this tunnel, I would call it. It's like the tunnel to either the courtside lounge or to the players' locker room. Yeah. When I would see these people come up, and like I was just like, bro, like you're just like people would fanboy and all this stuff, but I'm like, you're just another human being. but you're talented as a motherfucker. You mastered your craft.
Yeah.
But like, there's nothing that separates me from you. So like, I see that and I'm like, wow, like I need that. And it kind of like would like light a fire under my butt. Every time I see these people, I'm like, all right, like, cause you see them in music videos, you see them on like Instagram and all this stuff. But like when like my favorite person that I met was Paul Pogba by a mile.
Really?
Paul Pogba is one of the most class act gentlemen I would ever. I never thought I would ever be Pogba. He's like a year, like for the listeners not know it, it's the soccer player that plays for the international France team. I think he was on Man United. I don't know.
Man U, Juventus. He used to be a stud. Not that much anymore, but he used to be a stud.
But he's a tall man. But he was like I was trying to like reach him. He like bent down. He's like, "Oh, how you doing, sir?" He called me sir. I'm like, dude, like, you know who you are. Like, I appreciate the respect, but damn. Yeah. And it was just stuff like that. And I would like think to myself, I'm like, people put these people on a pedestal thinking like they're untouchable. Like, you can never get there. You can never do this. And I'm like, just put your head down, bust your ass, do work on your craft, find what you love. And there's no difference why someone who can't become the next Paul Pogba, the next Kanye West, the next whoever the name is. It's crazy. Yeah, I take that back. The coolest person that I had like a 10-minute conversation with was Rich Paul.
No shit. The agent for LeBron, right?
LeBron, yeah. Like he took the time because I don't get starstruck by like when I was working there, like it was normal to see like Nicky Jam, like the Miami locals that are like just love the sports. Like it wasn't crazy, but when you see someone like Rich Paul that like has built an empire, that was like, I need to pick your brain, bro. Like I need to ask you some questions. And like people are like, why did you want to like to talk to that guy over like Future and all that stuff? I'm like, the more you know, like nothing against Future, Meek Mill, and all these kids, like that's not gonna give me any personal growth. Like it's cool, but like they make good music, but like that's about it. If I talk to Rich Paul, he came from the hood, now is managing over like 100 athletes that are over 10 million plus.
Yeah, bro, he built something. And I'm not saying artists didn't and Future didn't, because they built
they built their brand. He's built a company.
Correct.
Like, and that's what made me tick. I was like, damn.
I mean, one thing too, bro, I'm very like you. I'm very competitive. When I see somebody, let's say a star, like, unless like, bro, it's like a soccer player that I admire for, like, there's not many people like a Tony Robbins, Grant Cardone, Ed Milet, I'd be starstruck. I'd be like, holy wow, like I want to pick your brain and all that.
Yeah.
Anybody else, I'm like, man, you're not much more different than I am. And I put into work and I'll get to you one way or another. I'm going to be consistent. I'm going to get to you. But that's my mindset. And I feel it's not either in the sense of like egoistic by any means or jealous. It's more like, man, I know who you are. I respect what you've done, but I could get there and get further than you. Right. Exactly. And I feel like also, bro, a little point that I want to bring up there is like most people see these people and they see their lives, and that's what keeps them stuck from not taking action. That's what keeps them stuck from not doing what we're doing right now and starting off a podcast that, bro, in 2 years from now will be like all over the world, right?
Massive.
Little things like that, bro. And it's like taking the small little steps that are going to get you to that.
It's one of those things that people get so starstruck, so caught up of like, oh my gosh, it's that person. Let me get a picture, like all this stuff. Like, I'm not gonna say this person's name, but my coworker X, like, was a female, and she's like fangirling over Meek Mill. Like, we're not allowed to have phones out or like do any of this, and she's risking her job to get a photo and like all this stuff. And I'm like thinking in my head, I'm like you personally met him in your head, like you're just taking this photo, risking your job to get a little clout. Like, why? Yeah. And so like that's what I look at all this stuff. It's like there's a lot of clout chasers, a lot of like, oh, I could do this, I could do that. But
yeah, bro.
At the end of the day, bro, they're no different than you and I. They're human beings that have a heart and a heartbeat.
Yeah, bro. Yeah. Let me ask you this, bro, with Rich Paul, since you're saying he's the best, the best star you met. What did he tell you? Would you ask him? What was like the goal behind it?
I went up to him. I'll never forget this. He walked in and I knew immediately because like there was like a line, and like every type of line person you would recognize after like a couple weeks saw him, and I was like, oh my God. I was like, no way. And I went up to him. I was like, hey man, like keep in mind, I'm like putting a wristband on him and his friend that was there. I'm like, hey man, I just want to say like what you've done is really inspiring. And he's like, what do you mean what I've done? I'm like, the fact that you went from inner city childhood, being with your best friend, to managing your best friend, to managing athletes, just shows the dedication, ethic you have. And I hope to be something like you one day. And he literally said to me, he's like,
that's awesome.
and he looked at me, he's like, you know what, man, like a lot of people like fanboy and say all this stuff, but like I felt that and I really appreciate that. And it just shows that anything's possible in this world. Said that to me, and I was like, my boy Rich, like, you know, like when I see him around, I'm gonna be like, yo, do you remember that one time we had a conversation? You
Yo, add me
probably
on
don't,
Instagram.
but
Add me on Instagram.
it was great. Like that to me, because there's a couple other people that I met that turned into friends working at the Heat,
Yeah.
and that like were not patients, but were people going into the arena, and I was just like helping them out. But nothing will ever defeat that Rich Paul moment, because like I see him, I was like, no, he's worth a lot of money, and it's knowing that he came from nothing and grew up, like grew something from the ground up with his friend. Like people are like, oh, he had LeBron. I mean, bro, people who have like money and like someone like that could easily just be like, oh, I'm rich, I get to chill. But he took the navigation route of like, hey, my boy's really good, could probably represent him. Hey, I could go get all this stuff. Dude, homie's like dating Adele, living in Beverly Hills, like boy's made. He's from Cleveland. Like,
Bro, yeah. Bro, that's you beat me to it, but it pisses me off when people say it's because of LeBron James. Like, sure, I mean LeBron James is a big part of it, but it's not just all because of LeBron James.
nah.
At all, bro.
It was a stepping stone that got his name out,
Mm-hmm.
but I guarantee you, if it wasn't for LeBron James, he'd still have some aspect in this world that maybe not world known like he is, but he still would be very, very successful, because people are born with that mindset. He like LeBron didn't say like, if you want to work for me, you got to be like this. Like LeBron has the four horsemen. He's got his three homies that he grew up with, all in a circle. And that's kind of like how I'm at. Like, and I was telling my friends, like, look, you got to have a good, tight circle that checks on you, that makes sure your business is good, not all that, not just trying to go to the parties, not trying to just go to do events. Like the people that ride with you through the hard times and the good times, that's your inner circle more than anyone else in this world.
Let me ask you this, bro. Has that been tough for you?
Honestly, it's very easy to weed out people, especially like when you're in the hospital, and especially down in Miami, you're there for like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. And the people that call, check on you when you're drugged out of your mind and you can't even like drugged out of your mind, mean like I'm so much in pain, I can't initiate a conversation, but you look at your phone and like you got people checking on you.
Yeah.
And then you got people that are like, yo, welcome home from the hospital. Let's go get lunch or something. Let's go do something. It's like, that's the separation part. It was like, yeah, just like, I just got a major back surgery. No, like, hope you're feeling better, like all that stuff. And so it was rough. Definitely learned some tough things along the way of this journey. But at the end of the day, I'm closest with the people that I grew up with.
Yeah.
And it's crazy because like I went to small Christian school with I think 48 kids per class.
Okay.
And that was my graduating 8th grade class. And then I went to high school with 850 people for my freshman incoming class. So I was like, I went through the waves. And the number one thing about me is so many people recognize, hey, it's a dwarf in a wheelchair. There's only not that many in the world. He probably remembers me. It's like, hey, how are you? Like in Tallahassee, bro, like I literally gotten slapped by girls at the bar, because they would be like, oh, hey, Austin. I'm like, hey, I'm Austin. Nice to meet you. Meet me the night before at Standard or something.
Yeah.
I'm like, look, like I'm a hot commodity, meaning like you could come up to me like, and like literally I stick out, and I would stick out in Standard. It would be a packed area and then just a hole. And then it would be like, oh, that's where Austin is.
Bro, I remember. And it was like you in the wheelchair and then people on your wheelchair, like, yo, Cam, give me a drink, dog.
Exactly like that. And it's like Tallahassee was one of those rough things where it's like everyone's your friend, but then you leave Florida. Like how I put it is like I was the man at Florida State, but I have my homies that I made at Florida State. Yeah. Like I've got like 10, 15 people that like I would still call and hang out with, other than like, yo, let's go get hammered, let's go do things. And like for me, I rely on my friends to pretty much do everything for me, and like they help me. I drive my own car, but if I need they're in the car, I need them to get my gas, need them to help me like reach groceries and stuff like that. I depend on them a lot. So like a nice tight circle of friends. I would rather have 5 solid friends than 100 fake friends.
I agree. No, I'm with you on that. There's this, I forgot who it was, but I saw videos like, I forgot, this comedian is like, bro, you only need 3 motherfuckers.
It's
need 3 motherfuckers to fucking take over.
Yeah, no.
3 bad
mother. Eddie something. I don't know.
Bro, but that's so true, man.
I know that video is the greatest thing. You need 3 badass friends, and you can take on anything in the world.
Yeah, bro. Well, look, I ask you that question because I'm in that point right now where I'm like struggling with friends. Not friends. I have great friends. My friends, my friends from elementary are still my best friends. But it gets to that point where they're not going the same way you are. And either they're scaling up with you or you're staying with them. You're either growing or dying. And the people you surround yourself with is crucial to that. And bro, I would say there's maybe 1 or 2 friends that are looking to really grow how I am. And the other ones are still in the same plan of like drinking every weekend, doing the same bullshit that we did in college, bro. And it's tough, man, because I'm a loyal person. I'd rather have, like you said, I'm very hard. I don't try to find new friends because I have such a cool crew of friends and I trust them. But now I'm in that point where I'm like, fuck, man, like these people are not going to push me to the next level. I need people that are in the same page. That's what you got to do.
You got to literally surround yourself with people that can understand, hey, like for me, example, like, no, let's use you for example. Hey, I love podcasting. I love inspiration. I love like literally listen. Any information that's positive, I absorb the shit out of it.
Yeah.
But then you have hypothetical like a Jerry, yo, I work from 9 to 5. I hate my job, but at 5 o'clock on a Friday, I'm going to happy hour. Saturday, let's get lit at brunch, and then let's go do that, and then let's go do drinking at the beach, and then Sunday, let's just like chill by the pool, do nothing, and like try to hit some babes up off Tinder. I'm like, dude, like, what are you like 12? Like, it's kind of like those things, those type of people. I've had plenty of them in my life, but at the same time, it's like you don't cut them off per se, but you kind of just like relegate your time to like when you, like you said earlier, like Sundays is your day where you hang out, relax, chill, like maybe see them on a Sunday when like you have nothing to do. But it's all about the mentality. If they don't support your vision, if they don't support your goal, and they think like you set unrealistic expectations, that's when you're just like, all right, man, I hope you're good. And if they're good enough friends, they'll understand. Like, you don't say like, I'm not your friend anymore, but like you just like slowly wean off, and then like you're just sitting around 2-3 years down the line, you're like, oh, I wonder how Jerry's doing. You call him, and if it's still a good friend, he'll be like, yo, what's up, man? How you doing? Like, how we doing? How's life? How's all this stuff? And there's people I don't talk to because I was trying to do my own thing for a while. They like brought negativity in my life, and I have no problem being like, peacefully, I'm doing my own thing. Like, I'm good. And then text them a couple of months, years, decades later, and just be like, yo, how you doing? Hope you're doing well. And then hopefully rekindle the friendship. But like, you don't want to be around someone that's super negative, super down, super like arrogant of like, my shit's better than your shit. Like, you're not going to get anywhere with that. Like, my biggest thing is if you have a loser's mentality, you automatically got handed an L. Like, winner's mentality is you could see a 200-foot tidal wave coming in, and instead of saying I'm gonna die, is I'm gonna try to surf this thing. Horrible example, but it's like among the lines of retreating or to just run towards the fire and just see what you could come out with. Like, and most of the time, firefighters run into a building and come out on top.
Man. No, I agree, man. It's like what your mind says to do. Like, yo, either I'm gonna freeze. It's like right now, man. I mean, it's not like the same, but right, like with everything going on, economy and everything, bro. It's like the time to push, to get better, to not freeze. If you freeze right now, you will be screwed. Like, you got to.
If you're not moving, you're exactly right. If you're not moving, you're standstill. And like, what happens to standstill fish? They get eaten by other big fish.
Oh, no doubt, bro. No doubt, bro. This show's gonna pop, man. People are gonna love it. Yo, you guys got to share this. We got to get this going. Episode 2, I think it went great. It did go great. Austin, what'd you think about this episode, bro?
Honestly, this is the second episode, and I feel like we've done this 100 times.
Bro, and it's only going to get better, man. The first episode I did, now that I look back at it, I'm like, what the fuck? I sucked. And I'm sure when we look back at this in 2 months, we're going to be like, yo, this could have been much better, bro. But whatever, man. We're doing it. That's the most important part. That's
I was just about to say.
That's what you guys got to do it too, bro. Who gives a fuck what people think? They're going to judge you regardless, so.
If we get 2 views on this, that's 2 people we've impacted.
No, I'll take it.
You can't look at it as like, damn, we only got 2 views. But
we're not gonna get 2 views, but even if it was 2 views, I'd be happy.
Hey, even if it was 1 viewer, if it's 1 million viewers, if it's 100 viewers, doesn't matter. At the end of the day, if you guys are listening to it and actually like it, share it to your friends, clip it, send us some cool ass clips that we didn't see. But at the end of the day, we're just here telling each other our stories, telling each other how we actually look at life. We're not puppets. We're not trying to just say this to make it feel good for a podcast. We're just 2 normal human beings trying to get this dough in this world to make a better impact.
Yep. Hey, I have nothing else to say. That was beautiful. With that said, fellas, see you next week.
Have a good one, guys.
Ever wonder what sets the winners apart from the losers? And what does it really mean to be a winner? My name is Federico, and I'm a young, successful entrepreneur passionate about sports, business, mindset, and real estate. If you are just like me and you want to crack the code to victory, then Winning Ways Podcast is made for you.